Oh. Harvest of Levites, right? So that yes, 2001. Yeah, harvest of Levites. 2021 specifically, because we have two common dates for 2021. Two common, I don't know how to call them. So which one? Panyam, right? Which is the date for Panyam? Yes? August 15. Actually, there are three. Talking of August 15, now there are three. So which one is for Panyam? So we have, you said August 15. So there's August 15, there is somebody saying January 6. Somebody else is saying October. October 24 to 28, right? Any other? So which one will we pick for Panyam? Because I don't think they will be two. Panyam. So let's take it as Panyam 2021. But I would suggest August 15, October 24th. As a reform line waymark dispensation, reform line waymark. Then, as you would expect, we have two smaller waymarks in each dispensation, right? So the increase of knowledge was increase of knowledge. Yes, what's the event? Right? So that's what was so June 24th, 2022, right? Yes, Emma?
We don't call it Roby Way.
Yeah, sure. It's dogs. Versus Jackson Women Health Organization. So Roe v. Wade is the law itself that was struck down, right? Then the formalization, what's the event? What's the event? Yes? What's the event? Yes? Oh, you can't see. Yes? I'll adjust. Going forward. Yes? You're saying what, Sandra? Oh. Sure. Trump conviction, right? So that is May 2024, right? Then what's the shutdown event? That is contested. I know. So we will go with July 18, 2024. So the reason why I'm bringing this dispensation up is I want us to remember that as LDTS was I don't wanna call it finishing their like part of the studies they handled since they left was the studies that were done from early I think 2022, right? February 2022. And from those studies, LDTS will go on to express or reveal to us the change of the nature of external events. I would call them events in the United States. And we would see that the nature of the Kingdom United States has changed to a very, has really changed. And broadly from those studies, we realized, or we started looking at what I would call the Trinity, which was expounded further as consisting of two entities, right? Which is atheism, men's rights, I'm sorry, I don't know if I would, I will enlarge my handwriting, but I try. Then we would also learn that in regards to enactment of the Sunday law in this way, man, the previous understanding that there is a church and state union started to fade away, and that is through the observations that were made in the nature of, in the United States, that kingdom. And we realized that it's more of culture and state rather than church and state. But I understand up to this time, we have gone through an increase of knowledge, and we can further describe this entity culture as the current term we use to define this culture is manosphere, right? Yes. So you can say manosphere or MAGA or what other latest terms do we use? Yes, Trumpism. Do we? Yes. So if somebody would quickly remind us what manosphere is. If somebody can quickly remind us what manosphere is. What is manosphere, by the way? What is manosphere? From the word man, sphere, right? Those are the two words that are complementary terms that make up this word. It is man and world, right? And man's world, right? So LDTS is which angels missing? Yes? LDTS. If you have, if we have first angel's messenger, second angel's messenger, and the third angel's messenger, we understand that the first angel's messenger really is a combination of all the three, right? We would say that. And then we would say the second and the third is a repeat and enlarge of the first, right? But then I think if we would try to be somewhat precise, we can say that each of these angels emphasizes on something more than something else, right?
Yes.
And therefore, it's a legitimate question to ask, and the test is which angel's messenger? Yes? Yes? Is that also a contested issue? Am I getting into a slippery ground? I should tread carefully. So who wants to venture into that? Elder. What does the second angel Titus? Second angel messenger. So Titus is saying Eldates. Titus has looked at the nature of studies of Eldates, and he feels confident to say that Eldates, the nature of their message is more of coinciding with the second angel message that's described in Revelation 14, verse 8. Is that what you are saying, Titus? In relation to the line of priests, right? In relation to the line of priests. Can you explain further? Comes. Can you uplift your voice a bit? Oh, yeah. Okay, can you uplift your voice a bit? So for those people in Zoom, Titus is saying the second angel messenger comes to empower the third, right? So Titus is adding that the second angel messenger makes the loud cry before the close of probation. That is on the line of priests, and the close of probation in the line of priests is 2019. So yes, Philip. Yeah, sure. I'm not quite. The line of? Okay. Okay. Also, get the second angel. Okay. So, Philip is saying that we all agree, you will see that the first angel messenger is Elder Jeff, who makes, we would say, emphasize on their first angel message, as well as the second angel message. And then the second angel messenger empowers from, okay? And then Elder Tess will come in to empower the second angel messenger that was proclaimed by the first angel messenger, right? Okay. So I think you agree with Titus. You agree with Titus that Elder Tess is the second angel messenger. Okay. Is that different? Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Just
Yes. Okay. Because they want the signal button. And that is the signal button.
Oh, so Josephine thinks that Elder Tess is the second angel messenger because he pointed out the sin of Babylon. And brought in righteousness. Right? That's what you're saying?
Yes. By taking them, showing
okay, I wish I would have been writing those responses. So Josephine is saying Elder Tess Lambert is the second angel messenger because they point out the sin of Babylon, and by them trying to point out the sin of Babylon, they inevitably give what righteousness looks like, right? So that is what Josephine is saying. And that righteousness is equality, right? Yes? The test, okay, sure. So are we satisfied with those responses? I see Snyder nodding their head. What do you have to say? Oh.
What do you feel for
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if the test is the same angel, so I use the five angel because in the issue of the priest, because my issue of the priest is to have the blessing of one before they have it. So you love the first, second, so if the test is the second, I think it was maybe a okay. So when you if he's not
okay, if I would request you, Snyder, because what you've really done is raise another concern. So would you try respond to who you think Elder Tess is explicitly? Would you be comfortable to do that? Oh, yeah. So Snyder is saying that or rather they are raising some other concern that if we say Elder Tess is the second angel and Paminda is supposedly not the second angel, then what would Paminda be? Right? That's a fair representation of your concern. Now, you said you are not comfortable to state explicitly who Elder Tess is. Okay. Now, before I give out, yes. Who the third? Okay. Okay, let's hear from. I think we will take two more people, then I will proceed, right? So I will take Who wants to respond to that issue? Who wants to respond? So that I see how many people. I think we can give all three, then we proceed. So we start with Rogers.
So what we clear when we say that this is the second day responded and thanking both the arrival and the empowerment of that. So, and I think we need to be clear. So you see saying she's both the arrival and the empowerment, because we say explicitly say she's the empowerment of the secretary. And maybe not to go back and this. The empowerment.
Okay. Okay.
That and proceed. And the more the line we use for the so you go through that that individual power.
The one who arrives is Samuel's, no? Okay.
And then we found like now which that United one what happened with the farm basically. So on that load out there the farm basically. And then because they use the time of argument because the family will be in that way you are in one to one. In farm and so the farm. This is the farm.
Rogers, what you just said, is this how it's represented? That we have first angel here, second angel at the same time. Yes? Sorry? So kindly guide me how we would represent what you said. Yes.
So it's going to go in one day.
Okay.
One E.
1E.
1B.
We have 1E. Okay. Then we said we have what in 2014. Are you comfortable assigning names to this? Who will you assign to N?
1A.
Okay, okay. Okay.
2A.
So if I would go with Paminda, if I would approach it from the third angel, then you've explicitly saying Paminda is the third angel message. Okay. The last person, Titus, you wanted to respond to Rogers. You wanted to retaliate. That's the term. Okay. Okay. Now, are you saying the second angel empowers the third angel?
Yeah.
That arrived here?
Yeah, there's a meaning part.
So what do we change here?
Okay. The only problem is, I mean, it's running for the relative.
All right. Now, to save on time, I can't really, yeah. But besides your comment, you had an issue which you don't agree with here. Which one was that? Oh, okay. You are saying that you don't have necessarily to see test in 2001 to say that test is the arrival of the second angel. That's what you are saying?
Yeah, so if I can have a thing,
Did you get that point? To aid in test.
Yeah.
So Titus is saying this is test.
Yeah.
And then it seemingly all people agree to that.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, it's agreed. Oh, okay. Now, I didn't expect this issue to be this contentious, but at least from what I knew earlier, I've been able to add to my knowledge that there's the issue of empowerment, right? And but then there's this small issue here, but at least we can all see from the nature of these three angels messages that they've been giving. I think if we go retrogressive, like let's look at the nature of their studies, right? And try to connect those studies with the language in Revelation 14, I think we can all agree that Eldates is describing the sins of Babylon, right? Do we all agree to that? So I understand that we need to precisely align the arrival and empowerment. But the point I wanted us to see is this, especially if you look at this, Eldates labored to describe what the sins of Babylon is, right? And by doing that, it was inevitable that from Eldates, we learned what the test of the time is. And the test of the time, we realized is equality or radical feminism. And when you come to the Sunday law at this point, whichever the date you want to go with, what do you expect? What must be the issue on that date? What must be the issue? These must be the issues, right? So when you come to this waymark, which is the great test, then you start to make observations to external events. You would want to go with an event that fulfills the test of the time, right? And it's my suggestion that I understand one of the symbols that have been used to develop this waymark is Quintus, Fabius, Maximus, Gages, right? I understand one of the symbols that have been used to describe or to point to the Sunday law waymark is this symbol, Quintus, Fabius, Maximus, Gages, which in some way has also raised controversy. But the thing we can all agree is we need to see in this event, we have to see manosphere. We have to see masculinity, toxic masculinity. We have to see misogyny. What else do we need to see? Yes? Sexism. Now, do we have any question? Yes, Ben. On this issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Where does the same matter? Where does it now matter?
And
Marking based on that line that we just mentioned there, the three angles. Where does Eldates?
oh, so Benta is asking, based on this small discussion we've had here on trying to assign individuals to angel messages, where do we place Elder Terry, right? Oh, there's a response already. Thank you, Rogers, for being generous. Okay, okay. So that's point number one. Okay. So ngoja kidogo. Rogers is saying that when talking about Elder Terry, they will properly fit on the line of 144K, mostly, or than the line of priests, right? Yes? Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But when
Uh-huh.
and by yeah, my understanding is less abrupt and the game comes working within the chiefly I will domain of the aim of
Do we call the second one teacher? How do we call the second one? Or messenger? Then members. If I'm not wrong. Is that the structure? Okay, then you can explain what you are saying. Uh-huh. Okay. 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 All right. Is that satisfactory? Because I don't want to pick any hand to respond to that question. That's satisfactory. So that so far we cannot explicitly assign Elder Terry as an angel because Elder Terry is part of the team that is presenting the Sunday Law messages. Okay. But I'm of the contrary opinion. It's only that maybe that's not part of our study for today. So let's be satisfied at that. Yes. Yes? Yeah, sure. Let's fix it to the Q&A. By the way, you'll help me to control the questions and time as well because I'm poor in that. So we are saying we are taking the questions to the Q&A in the evening. Yes. So make sure you write it down so that you don't forget, Malang. Malang, make sure you write it now and issue it to Snyder. Okay, so we continue, right? Now, what I wanted us to see as I begin my studies, I want us to see that we can actually, if we are keen with the development of the second angel's message, we can establish an event that fits the Sunday Law waymark or event as, we can use that model as our first witness, right? And then after doing that, we can now supply other witnesses that we reinforce the date, whichever the date we would have first agreed as being our Sunday Law waymark. And so far what I've done is that I've tried to show the development of the second angel's message and where it led, right? And during these studies in 2022, from the beginning, I think is it 2021 or 2022? Elder Tess will go forward to highlight the significance and the significance 2014 held as a waymark, as the Sunday Law for priests, right? So now, what are some of the famous events we marked in 2014 as a Sunday Law for priests? Sorry? So 2014 becomes our primary witness for 2024 as Sunday law, right? And already, Providence, thankfully, you already can see that it has a timeline of how many years? 10 years, right? And we all know that 10 years is a prophetic timeline, a credible prophetic timeline. So what are some of the events we marked in 2014? Yes, Rogers? Gamagate? Any other event? Sandra? Purging of the Republican Party. Any other? What's her name? David, yes, okay. Okay. Who did that blocking? Which McConnell? Any other event? Yes, Grace. Bobby Lobby. Any other event? Yes, annexation of Crimea. This one.
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah. Any other event you are forgetting? Cambridge Analytica. Excuse me. How many more minutes do I have? Is somebody timing me? 15. So we have, I think we'll go with the first four. Where would we want to go with the first four? Yes? We have Gamagate, purging of the Republican Party, Barwell versus Hobby Lobby, blocking of the Supreme Court appointments. Remember, we are looking at how this dispensation going into 2024 unfolded, right? That is our focus. And then we have these 10 years. So what we are realizing is actually this 10-year period from 2014 and 2024, that is a special history showing a progression of some, I would call them campaigns that began in 2014. We can see them giving results here in 2024, explicitly July 18, what we are marking, right? Yes, Grace?
No.
Continue to answer it.
They directly start with under the sixth kingdom. That is the project that is dealing with the right of the person.
Sure.
That is before
Sure.
the right of that.
Sure. Actually, speaking of which, something I want us to be very keen about to notice in this event is I want us to see what the role of the Republican Party is in the fulfillment of the Sunday law. So we want to look at the role, we need to see the role of the Republican Party in fulfillment of the Sunday law. And therefore, when we will be tracing these events from 2014, we need to see progression of these events, unfolding of these events, and how consequently they affected the Republican Party, or how they led to toppling of the Republican Party, right? So one thing that actually I would want to highlight or emphasize in my studies, I want us to appreciate the role of the Republican Party in the fulfillment of the Sunday law. And maybe somebody would ask why? Why do we need to highlight the Republican Party? So why do we need to, let me write it here. Why do we need to why the Republican Party? Somebody wants to make an attempt? As we will be studying these symbols in regards to the rise of the seventh kingdom, one of the things you will notice is that, based on the prophecy, the special prophecy you will go to, you will see these kingdoms referenced by symbols, referenced by different symbols, right? Same entity being referenced by different symbols. Are we together? Right? And it is because of that I suggested we can mention these symbols here, because based on our understanding of the special prophecies, especially in Revelation 12, 13, 17, and let's say the book of Daniel 2, which is the most overall. Based on your understanding of these special prophecies, then it behooves us to see what that looks like in actual sense, right? For instance, if we went to Revelation 17, right, we will see that there's a model that has been used to there's a model that has been used to refer to that beast, that animal, those animals in Revelation 17, right? And maybe who can point out what that model looks like? Yes? Who seems to get what I'm talking about? Church and state, right? You know, from Grace class, we remember Grace was discussing the issue of church and state, right? And therefore, a beast is being referenced to or addressed in Revelation 17, or an animal, and that animal is two entities. It is a woman riding a beast, right? Of course, we can go to that chapter, and through repeat and enlarge, we can easily define what those two symbols mean from the verse. But what we realize is that when we come to the end of the world, right? So let me just ask, maybe for those who have an idea, why do we need to discuss the Republican Party? Why is it important to discuss the Republican Party? Malang? It's the one that agitates the Sunday law. Okay. Any other response? David?
And they want to get America back up. They look America in the progressive and the constitution is supposed to based on what they start on about to do. That's the point to go free and only state as it right. So the Republican Party are conservative and they want to pay back the next job. Therefore, we are really this power to make America back to conservative. So in God, they are the conservative one. They are one who can see the heightened people of the
Any other response? Grace? Agitates the Sunday law?
Yes.
Oh, David.
Yes, David. So it's telling us that the Republican Party wants to take America to conservatism. But when the US rises, it doesn't rise as a conservative measure. That is when the one alone, republic, it rises as a republic. And a republic is where we have the state over the nation of the culture or people's way of life. So my response will be, that is my response now, but whatever you say, I don't agree with it because America was not founded on the principle of conservatism, right? So what I think why we are looking at the Republican Party, first because of the as I mentioned, and see how it rises, and therefore you go back to that history, you consider those political parties and you realize that is the party, especially the country you realize that that is the party that was standing for the right side of it, and that is Labour. But there is that shift that is but before even the 1850s, That was, if you go to 1798, it is not the real name of the people. We have the federalists who are good, and we have the democratic party, which was bad. And so the finally received, I don't think America was founded in the but Republican Party currently showing us that what the theme of the US is, because it was founded as a republic, and you can define what a republic is. So many things.
Yes? Okay. So who also wants to
So that
weigh in?
in a
Simple way? Uh-huh.
like the name for like was Republican Party was good. It has changed.
Okay. Okay. So the Republican Party has changed.
But instead of that,
Right? Yes. Yes.
Just say repeat it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. So just inside it has the spirit of the King of the North. Yes, Kenneth.
I'm saying that you are starting the Republican Party in relation to Trumpism, because you can see there are dictatorship is something. When we just did a study in 2019 about the Russian state. So when we study the Russian state at Trumpism, you can trace it from its original starting of its party along the rest.
So Trumpism, the rise of the rise of a dictator. Yes, yes, Sarah.
So there is one reason why we are living in the African life.
So we put it here. We give it its own target paper. So as we finish, as I make my point now, and I want to make my point on what Sabina has just said, that the Republican Party is a gatekeeper. I think as we are contemporarily looking at prophecy and how it fulfills, especially looking at USA, we are continually realizing that it's more nuanced than just saying the seventh kingdom is USA. And can we all appreciate that? Can we all appreciate that assigning the seventh kingdom to the whole of USA is not accurate, right?
Yes.
And then if we can see that, we are then forced to see what entity within USA is going to take that role, you know, of acting the seventh kingdom, and therefore making the image of the beast, right? I would use that language. So, and I think that is why we would need to see the Republican Party as the gatekeeper of democracy. Now, at the inception of the United States in 1798, we didn't have how do we call it? The party systems, right? But then they came about, and this is my suggestion, that throughout history, these Republican parties have held an important position within that government of the United States, that now looking at them, we can see that they hold an important position of what we would call the gatekeeping, or protecting the nation as a whole from things like, from what? What does, if it's a gatekeeper, what does it protect the nation from? Yes? Yeah, trampling upon the rights of the minorities, right? And therefore, if these political parties, and actually it's not just the Republican Party, we can be correct to just say the political parties. If these political parties hold a significant role in the government as being a gatekeeper, then there is credibility in looking at them and trying to understand how toppling such an entity, which we would really assign the institution, toppling such an institution has far-reaching implications. And therefore, if we have established the legitimacy of looking at the Republican Party as a key player in prophecy today, then we need to go and look at this progression, how the Republican Party, through these events we mark in 2014 and efforts of people like Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller, who else? Jeff Sessions. So then we need to look at how this looks like in practicality, how the efforts of these people back in 2014, right? We can see they initiated some of these campaigns, talk of the Gamergate, talk of purging of the Republican Party of the moderates, Barwell versus Hobby Lobby. By the way, what do we understand about this case? What was it about? Yes? Contraceptives. Sure. Yeah. Barwell versus Hobby Lobby, and we know that it was ruled against organizations issuing contraceptives to their employees. And then we have blocking of the Supreme Court. So in our class tomorrow, we will continue this journey and see how this event, by the time you come to July 18, 2024, there is a full display of what I would call the manosphere. The Republican Party has been toppled. Toppled in the sense that it has morphed. Like somebody was saying, the Republican Party has changed such that it can now accommodate some form of creed, which really is the manosphere, or in other symbolic terms we would call state nationalism. So I think we can end there. Do we have any question? Yes.
My question is, if you elaborate why the thing, the second kingdom is not entire.
Snyder, you are writing the questions. Yes? Yes? Yes. Okay. The question. No, you can say it, then Snyder writes. Why the Republican parties? Oh, I think it's the same question. Okay. Okay. Okay, if I can make a correction, actually, I would say not the Republican Party, but political parties. If I would correct, yes. No, I'm saying we would consider political parties as being part of the system that protects the nation. So in that sense, what really I'm saying is, I'm singling the Republican Party because of this event, but largely looking at the political parties within the United States, we would understand them to be gatekeepers for democracy. That is what I'm essentially saying. So both parties. Yes. Yeah, I think, yeah, sure. Please as well. Please.
Yes. Originated the understanding of the one let the time with the
So the question is if equality arrived in 2021, or if Elder Tess originated the message. Yes. Did Elder Tess originate the message?
The last word.
Yes.
I don't see the difference. The question would be, what's the difference between
Okay. In this model,
yeah,
okay. Okay. Yeah, still ask us.
okay, the last word.
There's no problem because you're asking for those who.
So the Republican Party, what do you think you have to understand the Republican Party? Is it a party or Republican who are peaceful? You can be between
Okay.
the Democratic Party or any other party. Because the Republican Party is the Independent Party, the Republican Party.
Any other question? We are past time. We are past time. Yes. Inamaanisha toppled. What does toppled mean? Overthrow. Yes, so any other question? Yeah, I think you can sound it up. Why do we say that Republican Party is a gatekeeper of human rights, and yet it never interprets the Constitution properly? It has never actually. That's it. I was actually expecting a lot of questions in these studies because I'm not so I'm not yet well equipped with teaching skills, and I was expecting to make most of my points, you know, in trying to respond to some of the questions you're asking. So I don't mind the questions. As we continue, you should ask as many questions as possible, because through that, I'll be able to actually make some points that I'm not able to make while teaching. So I think we can pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this time. Thank you for the gift of life. Help us to see the magnitude of the privilege we have to gather so that we can share our minds as to how we understand the teachings. Lord, we pray that you give us confidence to rearrange our lives so that we can live according to your will, especially now that we are living in solemn times. Be with us as we continue to deliberate our stay, and as we deliberate to feed from what you have for us in this camp meeting. I pray in Jesus' name.